It has been a pleasure to work with your son. Ray is a bright student who works without complaint, completes quality work, and he works really, really hard. As a student, working hard is extremely beneficial. It's such a great habit to have because when approached with difficulty, he knows that if he works hard, he can accomplish the task eventually. He doesn't get discouraged when he approaches a task or a challenge, which is necessary when learning how to read, because learning how to read is really, really hard. I strongly believe that parents play a crucial role in helping their children become successful readers and writers, and home literacy activities profoundly influence children's academic success. Today, we're going to talk about how together, me as a teacher and you as the parents, can support Ray's literacy strengths and needs. At Ray's age, students are emerging and beginning readers. Because reading is such a big part of our lives, especially for the rest of Ray's time in school, the things he is learning right now in first grade are so important. He is learning about the foundational skills of literacy like phonics, parts of words, the alphabet fluency, how to retell a story, spelling, etc. Over the past month, I administered a few literacy-based assessments that tested these sorts of skills. I administered tests that tested his ability in sounds and the ability to match those sounds with letters and naming letters, print concepts, which is basically like how books work, where the story starts, the front of a book, back of a book, high frequency words, and just his ability to identify those. Running records, which is how we evaluate the accuracy of him independently reading aloud. Retelling what happened in a story. I conducted a reading interview with him, just asking some questions about him as a reader. I collected some writing samples and evaluated those, and I conducted a developmental spelling test. These assessments have helped me as Ray's teacher monitor his progress, document learning, and diagnose his strengths and weaknesses. But most importantly, they've taught me what I need to do to support Ray, his strengths and his weaknesses. First, I really want to talk about his strengths. He has so many. Right here listed, I have more than 15 specific literacy strengths he has, which is incredible. And although they're super numerous and I'd love to talk about all of them, I'm just going to focus on 3. The first one I want to talk about is his alphabet knowledge. His alphabet knowledge is extensive and amazing. I conducted 2 tests that are applicable and showed me how great this knowledge was. I did an alphabet inventory where he would look at lowercase and uppercase letters and identify the name of them, and he got 52 out of 54 correct. And that's awesome. And that showed me that he knew the difference between an uppercase and lowercase. And then I did a spelling test, and he got all the ones correct that were phonetic, which tells me that he knows which sounds go with which letter, which is good at this point in time as well. He can quickly identify all the names of the alphabet, all the names of the letters in the alphabet, and he, like I said, is spelling things phonetically on his own without any help. For example, in the spelling test I gave him, the word hope, which is spelled H-O-P-E, he spelled H-O-P. I mean, it's not spelled correctly, but if you look at that and analyze it, H-O-P is how it's phonetically, the way it's phonetically sounding. So he knows that H goes H, O goes O, and P goes P, which is great. And based on his writing samples, he knows how to correctly form letters as well. I want to continue to progress this strength, and so I want to have Ray make an alphabet book, and the pages will have pictures of objects beginning with a particular letter on each page, as well as accompanying word for each picture, and this will help Ray practice applying letter sounds and identifying those sounds at the beginning of words, and it will help solidify the alphabet knowledge he already has. A good way for you at home to improve this knowledge is to point out letters in environmental print. Environmental print is print that you see all the time, like store names or traffic signs, just out there in the environment. Words that he sees, just point him out and ask him questions about it. Like, for example, if he's eating cereal, look at the cereal box and say, what does that start with? I wonder what this says. And then just pointing out those things, and it will be a lot more relatable to him because it's something he's seeing every day. Another huge strength Ray has is his ability to retell stories that he's heard or that he's read. I conducted 3 retelling tasks, and each time I did it, even whether it was something he read on his own or something that I read to him, he was able to tell me what happened at the beginning, middle, and end, and gave me a general overview without any prompting. So he was able to do it without me. This tells me that he has the ability to comprehend what is happening in stories that he is reading or listening to. Because if he wasn't comprehending, he wouldn't be able to retell it. And comprehension is the goal of reading, so he's at that point. My strategy to help continue this growth is I want to encourage him to share more details during his retellings, just kind of like a step up from where he is right now. And I'll promote this by teaching him the 5-finger retell technique. So these 5 fingers tell us what need to be retold. So setting, characters, beginning, middle, end. And I'll teach him this so that when he retells, he will remember to include those specifics, especially the setting and characters part. A strategy that you could use at home would be like after watching a movie or after reading a book together, by himself, or and that can include by himself, ask him to tell you about it. And you can even refer to this 5-finger retell technique if you want, and ask him about the characters and the setting and the events that took place, and ask him for specific things. You could prompt this through questions, and this will promote deeper thinking. And the last strength I want to talk about is his writing. I collected 2 writing samples, and he is doing outstanding. I wanted to show you these samples. I don't know if you can see these, but there's 2 of them. One, he wrote about his heroes, and this was done on Veterans Day. And then one, this was from his personal journal, and he talked about things that he liked. And from these, I could tell that he could form words, and he knew that letters formed words. I could see that his language level was really high. He uses punctuation, he uses capital letters, and there's spaces between words, and they're coherent sentences. The message he tries to get across is clear. For example, in this hero one, he says, firemen help put out fires, soldiers help protect and fight. And he's getting this message across that they're heroes, which was the whole topic of the writing sample.